Hello. So I just finished watching the latest Chugga episode on Pokemon Heart Gold and Soul Silver. And I couldn't help but notice that he doesn't like Voltorb Flip. Now that's not the end of the world, it's not a game for everyone, but I think he was rather uncharitable to it, and was rather dismissive of it because it can be easily bypassed and skipped with tools. As someone who's a big fan of this game, and I think it's probably my favorite Game Corner minigame because the competition is mostly slot machines, which I'm not a fan of, I find this game really interesting and a lot of the strategies to it really satisfying to pull off. Even though he is right, this game sometimes is about luck. But I'm going to try and teach you how to manage that luck and get the highest score possible most times. So, let's go ahead and go over some of the basics. Now the goal of the game is really simple. We just want as many coins as possible. And we get coins by flipping over number cards. Each number card multiplies the score by the amount on the card. Now this is where a really key mistake that I made, I'm sure a lot of people made as a kid, and I noticed was in the gameplay footage of the Charlie Conroy video, there's never any reason to flip over a 1. There's no point to it whatsoever. Why is that? Because anything times 1 is itself. The only time this will get you any points at all is if it's the first thing you uncover in a match. So if I flip over a 1 at the start, it'll give me 1 point. But that doesn't matter for score, because if I immediately flip over a 2, 1 times 2 is 2. Alternatively, if I flipped over to the 2 to start, it would give me 2 points to start. So there's no point in flipping over 1s. They're a useless number, they're a neutral force. The only time to flip over a 1 is if there's no risk to doing it, and you just want the information more clear. So, with that out of the way and that simple rule established, we're hunting for all the 2s and 3s on the map. And I like to go through a sort of list of the steps you should take to approaching any Voltorb flip board. So the first step, super easy, okay? If you see this number 0 next to the Voltorb anywhere, just click on all the tiles in that row. Same thing if you saw them in a column here. If there was a 0 anywhere here, just click through all of them. There's no reason not to do it. 0 Voltorbs means there's no risk. You may as well get the information out there. No problem at all. Now, how do these numbers actually work? Well, you'll notice there are 7 up here and a 0 here. Now, the 0 down here with the Voltorb is really simple. That just means there are 0 Voltorbs in that row. This means there are 2 Voltorbs in that row, 1 Voltorb, 2, so on and so forth. 2 Voltorbs in that column, 1 Voltorb in that column, 2, etc., etc. Super simple, number of Voltorbs. Now the point number here is how much the points add up to when summed together. If we do it here, 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 3 plus 1, that's 7. So there's a really simple rule, okay? If you notice that the number of Voltorbs and points add up to 5, there is no reason to flip over any card in that row or column. You'll notice here, 3 plus 2 equals 5. None of these are worth flipping over. They're either 1s or they're Voltorbs. So that means, same thing here, 3 plus 2 is 5. There is no reason to flip over a single card in that column. Same thing here, 3 plus 2, 5. None of these are worth flipping over. Now, our board looks a lot cleaner, doesn't it? There's only so many spots we can go to. But there's another step involved. This is what I like to call the math part of the game. Because at this point, all bets are off. You have to start doing some math, you have to do some guesses, you have to do some risks. It's going to be a lot more complicated. I'm going to try and break down my thought process, but it's possible I will get things wrong at this point because some of it's luck, some of it is numbers that'll go over my head. The simplest 2 rules, 0 bombs, clear the whole row, add up to 5, clear that out, and you're already way less luck dependent on a run. So now let's take a look here, 7 and 1. Well, it's going to have to add up to I think there's too many ways for that to add up to 7 to clear out anything here. 5 and 2. I mean, there has to be a bomb in one of these, and we don't know which one that is. 5 and 1. It does mean there has to be something in one of these, which is good. 7 and 1. That's a really high number. 3, 4, 5, 6 bombs. So there has to be a 2 somewhere here, or else it doesn't work out. So I can't do any math. I think we're at a guess point. And in the case of a guess point, I like to take the highest number, lowest bombs, highest number, lowest bombs, and just see what happens when I click the intersection. That's our 2. So now we know 5 is here revealed. We know one of these is a bomb, and then the other 2 are 1s, which would add up to 7. And therefore there's no reason to click anything in this row. Now here, there's still going to be a 3 somewhere, so that's a bit annoying. At least a 3. I believe it could also be a 2 and a 2, right? Yeah. So I'm going to take another guess here. And I'm going to take that guess here. Okay, 2 and a 2. That's interesting. We can already clear this up. These have to be things, right? Okay. A little bit risky here. I messed up my math. I didn't realize this could be a 1. But now this is a 3, 4, 5, so this has to be the final one. And that is the board clear. Now you saw there were some guesses involved, but there are boards you will get where there are less guesses involved or none at all, if you can do the math right. But I think that kind of goes over the very basics of this game, and why it's really satisfying to pull off, because there's a lot of depth to the strategy. Despite the fact that there is luck involved. But there's luck involved in a lot of games. There's luck involved in Pokemon. You could get a critical hit that saves you the game, or you could miss a shot that would have won you the game anyways. You can always play around that luck, which you can't really do in Voltorb Flip, but I think most people play Pokemon in a way where luck could still screw them. They don't necessarily train up to level 100 to remove the element of luck from every battle. Anyways, just remember the 3 rules, right? Start with your zeros, flip everything over in a 0. If they add up to 5, ignore that row. You can mark it with bombs. You could also mark it with what it actually is, which is bomb 1, but I just don't like, I think this is just too cumbersome to keep marking everything with every possibility. I think once you get that big ahead and you can pull off the possibilities of what's in each row, you're well above me. I'm your student. You're really good at this game and I'm not that good. But I think those 2 simple rules will make a lot of the boards a lot easier to manage. And from there, you can sort of work out the math to try and figure out where the most likely spaces are that points will be on versus the ones that'll have bombs on them. And once you do that, I'd say it could take maybe half an hour to get all the coins you need for, say, a Dratini. I don't know, it doesn't feel like it takes very long. Especially since once you get later in the game, the points start multiplying really fast. And it's really satisfying to pull off. But yeah, thank you for watching this video. I hope you've changed your mind a little bit on Voltorb Flip if the video Chuggaaconroy made soured you on it. And I hope you give it a shot before using the tool. No shame in using the tool. If you want to use the tool, if this isn't your kind of game, totally fine, totally get it. I just wanted to give this game a fair shake and a fair chance. And I hope I've managed to convince someone. See ya.